Hi, it's Amy again. Today I'm going to teach a lesson on draping a gourd skirt. This is something that I really love to do, honestly. It's super fun. I kind of nerd out about costumes and historic pieces, and gourd skirts are largely what was used during the Victorian era. I know there were many different shapes during the Victorian era, but gourd skirts were pretty prominent for a lot of it. Later Victorian and even a bit in the Edwardian. So we're talking like later 1800s through very early 1900s with a gourd skirt. Now, a lot of that would have a bustle underneath. The bustle is the butt pad. They like to, for some reason, have the butt sticking out quite a bit in Victorian clothing. But I'm not going to bother with that today. You'll get the same idea of what you're doing, just doing it flat on the form. So let's get started. Okay, to do gourd skirts, it's good to sit for this, so that's nice. You're going to need a lot of muslin. It goes through a lot, but the pieces are big, especially the ones as you get further back, the pieces get bigger and bigger. So once you're done making your pattern from this, you can always reuse those pieces to drape bodice tops and whatever, so you're not wasting these huge pieces of muslin, because that's really unfortunate. All right, so put my scissors there. To start with, you obviously want the grain center front, and gourd skirts are relatively flat in the front. They go straight down. You typically won't have a seam, but obviously when you're draping it, you always just have it stop there. But when you make your pattern, you'll put a cut on fold marker on that. So here's my grain line. Just this for gourd skirts, it's kind of a circular shape. So you want to pin above the waist so that you want to have like a few inches extra so that you can drop it and you don't run out of fabric. And you're going to drop it more and more with each piece as you go back. So the front doesn't have to go super high above the waist, but when you get to the back, you're going to go really high above the waist. So to start with, we'll just do like 2 inches above the waist. And just pin typical, just pin down center front, pin away from it so that when you pull on it, it doesn't go anywhere. This would be easier with a dress form that doesn't have legs, because then you can pin further down the skirted ones. But we work with what we got, right? Okay, so you're gonna hold that out. You want to try to keep that hanging straight. You're going to do a lot of pinning and clipping, because curves always need to be clipped to lie flat. So with this one, we'll pin flat about a 1/2 inch away, and then you're going to drop it just ever so slightly. You see, I was holding it, this is straight out, but I'm going to drop it a little bit. And then I'm going to put a pin. All your pins are going to be like 1/2 inch apart, 3/4 maybe. Then, so this is where that was dropped to. And then we're going to drop it again a little bit. See how it's starting to bubble? That's why you're going to have to clip. Put a pin. And we're only going to side front on this piece. So then we're going to drop it a little bit more. And we'll put a pin. And like I said, as we go further back, we're going to drop more and more. So you're going to have to clip more and more. There. And it's going to be hard to see because it's a small piece, but see how you have like one little fold? You'll get more of those as you go. I mean, this might even be too much. Depends on the period. Some of them really go straight. So let's undo this. Use less fabric. We'll just pull that one up a little bit more. Some of them really do go just straight down in the front. There's really no fold at all. All right, so that's good. Now, this is tricky. This is really for like advanced draping, because you already need to know how to like feel your fabric and keep your grain line on track without warping. So we're just gonna pin a little bit here, keeping it flat. Right here. Okay. Then you're gonna cut it all the way down. But you want to try to keep it as straight as you can. Just follow the same line. Of course, when you get it on paper, you'll be able to straighten it out even better. You do what you can right now. So you see how this is a slight triangle shape, very slight. That's good. Now I'll turn it. This annoys me, so I'm just going to trim some of that. I don't like when it flops over the waist. It just bothers me. Now, excuse me. It might actually help to do it. Turn it around. Now each one, tricky to explain. So this obviously is not on grain, but when you attach another piece, this will be on grain. Now you want to go a few more inches up and then pin that. Pin it along the same line that you had. They'll get sewn together. And it also helps if you pin these together. So just kind of do this, overlap them, and stick a pin through. You don't have to do that very frequently, just a bit to hold it steady. There you go. Excuse me. All right, now we're going to the side seam. We're going to drop it a little bit more frequently. So there's one. Then a little more. Then a little more. You might need to clip it at this point before you drop it anymore. Yeah, that helps. So we were here. Now we're going to do a little more. And then just a bit more. You don't want to go too crazy because we're only halfway. Okay. Now, yeah, probably went a little too much there. Let's do that. And we'll go. And you're going to pin down that side seam. And then you'll just cut straight down, as straight as you can go. And you see why you end up wasting so much fabric. So this is what we've got so far on the front half of the skirt. Now the trick is, do I want to try to find the grain line again? Or do I want to just get a whole other piece of muslin? Let's see. Well, I can always rip it. Let's do that on this side. Fabric will typically rip straight. All right, that's pretty good. Just move it over a little bit. I'll clip it again. You don't want to be warped. That's better. Okay. Now, you want to raise it up a bit more. Pin that side seam. And then pin the pieces together just like you did in the front. Okay. Now we're gonna, like right off the bat, we're gonna need to clip because we're gonna start dropping it even more than we did before. And plus, because of the curve here, and you've raised it so high above the waist, you kind of can't do anything until you clip it. All right. So, drop it. You might want to pin closer together now that we're dropping it more and more. It just makes it a little bit easier. Drop it. Yeah, see, I clipped too low here because I clipped too soon. Drop it again. See how we've almost rotated like a full quarter turn? We actually pretty much are going to do that in the back. But we'll just stop there for now here. Cut this away. We'll pin down that side back like that. There we go. Now we definitely do need another piece of muslin after this because the back piece is big. I'll go get another piece of muslin. All right. The last piece. Now, to make this one even trickier, you can always gather as well as gore. And they did that a lot because of the bustle, honestly. The gore shape might not be enough to cover the bustle, and they like just a lot of fabric. I have some pictures. I'll put some pictures in so you can see what I'm talking about. But excuse me. So again, we're gonna go real high up this time. We're gonna pin the grain line on side back. Ah, it's a loose thread and it's pulling my pins out. There it is. Do not want to step on those. Oh my God, this thread is killing me. There. Just to the tush. All right, now. We're going to drop it right off the bat. Drop it again. And clip. Drop it again, clip, drop it again, and then as you can see, we are now at a right angle. That's how much we've rotated it in the center back. You don't have to do it that much, but it just makes for a fuller skirt. It looks nice. Just be aware when you're doing this, you need like super wide fabric. And I mean that for like the actual garment, not so much for this. You can always piece together or drape it shorter and then just extend the pattern as long as you need to. But for the fabric itself, you're going to want really wide fabric, like 60 wide, because otherwise you're going to be piecing and pattern matching, and it's just like a big headache because the pieces at the bottom are huge. I'll show you before we're done. All right. So that's clipped. It goes all the way like this. So we are essentially on full cross grain at center back. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes it'll be more of an angle, but you are going to want to pattern match at center back when you do these pieces. Center front will be on fold, so that'll be fine. But center back, if there's a big like floral pattern or something, you're going to, I mean, it's difficult, but any good cutter should be able to do it. All right, this is together. Okay, so this is your skirt. My chair. Let me put these together. So you see how it's pretty straight in the front. To really get the effect, I'll unpin from the form here. Just pin the pieces together. There we go. It's straight in the front. And then as you turn, it gets more and more gathered until the back is super full. I love these. This is one right here. This is close. This is more Edwardian, so it's actually less dramatic than a little bit earlier. Because that's, if there's a bustle, it's very mild. It's not, I'm not gonna be able to get this back up now. There we go. I'll find a Victorian picture to show you, but I mean, it's just really gorgeous. I love these skirts. I think they look so beautiful. They have so much flow. If you're doing a musical, you know, there's a lot of flaring out because it's almost a circle skirt while they dance. So this works well for like Hello Dolly, My Fair Lady. There's a lot of musicals actually from that time period, but there you go. That's a gourd skirt. So, but as you can see at the bottom, this is how big the piece is. It's this giant piece that is going to use a lot of fabric and a lot of paper. So be prepared for that if you're going to do one of these or a show or costume in that time period. Hope you all understood that. As always, leave me messages. Let me know if there's something you don't get and I'll go over it with you. No problem. And there you go. There's a gourd skirt.